Hey, hey, check it out. We got a double special banner today. So, what do we got going on here? Oh, wow. Look at green and colorless, man. They definitely played favorites with those colors. Surprise, surprise. Those are the colors that happen to have the duos on them. Yeah, so this double special heroes banner, is this worth your orbs? Is this worth summoning on? Well, why don't we go ahead and dive right in and find out. So starting us off on red, we have the Bride Tana over here, who, she is a demoted character, so if you were going for merges, then I don't know if I would recommend this unit as a merge project. Her stats are okay in terms of attack and speed, like she may be one of our better cavalry red tome options for just her stats spread alone, but considering that she's a seasonal demote and you're going to have to go with orb investment to get her to plus 10, you may be better off just waiting around for a regular demote red tome cav or one from the heroic rail shop to appear. So that would just be my suggestions there. Her weapon is okay as a support option, giving the drive, attack and speed up 5, and neutralization of enemy bonuses. And then she's getting some true damage as well based on, what is it, the number of allies in 3 rows of 3 columns centered on her. So, okay inheritable weapon, but nothing too crazy. And the true damage isn't even on AoE either, that sucks. Had it been, then this weapon might have been okay. But, yeah, a little unfortunate. She does have Speed and Res Far Trace 4 as a fodder skill, which is cool to see on a 4-star. But at this point, a skill like this could be on a regular banner demote, not a seasonal banner demote. And it still wouldn't really help us all that much. So, yeah, just a little food for thought there. Okay, next up we have the New Year Tana. Why are we bringing her back? Haven't we, like, gone way past the point of this New Year banner? Regardless, though, this Tana is actually pretty good. And she got a lot better with air superiority, because if I'm not mistaken, her warping shenanigan is on weapon, where she lets allies just warp to her. Yeah, she has to end. Wait, is it on her B skill? She has an effect where after she enters combat, allies can warp next to her no matter where they are on the map. Yeah, there it is. It's right there on her weapon, the third line. So, yeah, with air superiority on her, you could just do that, and you may think you don't want to get rid of her B skill here, but it's not really giving her the same amount of stuff as air superiority would. Giving her the warping, the pass, the true damage, and then also you get the potent, whereas this is giving you, what is it giving you? Alright, some stat points, but that's whatever. Looks like null follow-up, and then also special cooldown charge, and then also a little bit of a scowl effect on the enemies, which, compared to air superiority, that's just better. And to tell you the truth, air superiority is better than a lot of unique beasts. Even like Baldur, the mythic Baldur, I feel like air superiority has arguments over her own unique beast skill. So, yeah, just a unit that's in a pretty good spot right now considering the access of skills that we've got. And her shenanigan is one of the ones that you can actually find a lot of good uses for. So, I don't really have anything bad to say about this Tana. She is another demoted character. So, if you're pulling on red on this banner, you would only be doing so to go for merges. Okay, next up on blue, we have Hansel and Gretel over here. So, yeah, this unit, I kind of overestimated them when they first came out, mainly because of Draconic Hex. Like, my interpretation of that effect on release, I thought it looked like a Plegian weapon effect built in, and that would have been crazy, right? Because, like, Plegian debuffs can stack really high. You could get, like, potentially minus 19 to some of the enemy's stats there. And had that really been what this did on the bonus effect, I think this unit would have actually been a standout. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. And I can't really recommend this unit over any of the top-of-the-line armors right now, like Duo Rhea or Brave Vector Deer, or even the Emblem Corin is pretty good too. So, like, you're probably not going to slot in this unit over any of them. And there's also, like, some off-meta like, kind of anti-meta armors, like Hector, for example, who sets up the stone tiles, which can still be pretty useful. So, yeah, just a very unfortunate situation for these two. They do have Primordial Boost, which is nice fodder. All armored units really care about is defense and res. So even though Diluvial Boost is better, because you're getting attack instead of speed, it's not really like that much better, because defense and res is really the only thing you care for. Clever Fighter is whatever, and Lower Ground is still pretty good fodder. So they're not a terrible pull, but they're not like the craziest pull you could get here. Okay, they are color sharing with the Valentine Claude, who, unfortunately, a lot of the things that made this guy kind of cool don't really apply anymore. So one of the things is that he was a range unit that could get an extra action on his weapon, which nowadays anyone can do that with the Uma Lin style from her bonus, turning anyone into a range unit, and then anyone there can run or Gale Force and then just be a ranged Gale Forcer. It's just way better. So, unfortunately, this Claude doesn't really get to play up his own shtick anymore. And then he does have, well, what does he even have for fodder? Attack and Speed Insight Hone is okay, I guess, but certainly no Outcry Dull. Attack and Speed Prime 4 is okay fodder, I guess. But we do have that new skill from Legendary Diamant, that one. Can't remember the name of that exactly, but that's a pretty good distant counter skill. And then Curved Shot. Are we running Curved Shot right now over stuff like Ice Wall or Flame Wall? Probably not. So, yeah, just a pretty big RIP for this Claude, unfortunately. So, yeah, blue, even though there are 5 stars on there, seems like a skip. Okay, next up on green, we have the Tea Time Ingrid, who is still a pretty solid unit, and her ability to just give Reflex on demand is pretty good. Reflex is arguably the best bonus support for damage. So that's definitely helpful. And then this is a blessable unit, unlike Burger King. So even though he gives start a turn reflex, you can't always run him because of him being fire season locked in certain modes. So this Ingrid would come in handy there. I've seen her countless times in Aether Raid's offense replays where people just bring her just to raise the damage of their allies. Attack speed, Outcry Dull, really good fodder skill. So is Potent Assault. So you can't really go wrong. This would definitely be one of the top premier units to get on this banner. All right, next up on green, we also have the Beachside Yuri over here. So he's a little bit more of a niche type of unit where his real role is to just use him in Aether Raid's offense because he can do a lot of stuff in there. He can disarm traps, he can use foul play to get better positioning, and then he can double foul play kind of after he uses the assist. Then he can pop his C skill to get another... What is it? Hold on. Oh, does he not have that? For some reason, I thought that his C skill also... Not only did it have foul play, but it had a lookout force on it where he could swap in afterwards. This is what happens when there's 1,000+ units in the game and I only have a limited amount of them. So yeah, I don't have this character. I've never really used him. All I know about him is what I've seen from other people using him. But I do know that if I had him, I would probably find some places to run him in Aether Raid's offense in particular. So yeah, not a bad unit for support and some setup in terms of positioning. But outside of that, right now, not really much going for him in fodder. Attack speed Waylay, I guess, is okay. He's the only unit that has Waylay at the moment, I think. And then full disarm, which I guess that's okay as well. Okay, maybe he's not the worst in terms of fodder. I take it back. But yeah, green is okay. They definitely get a pass because both of the units there you can definitely use for sure. And then finally, on Colorless, we have Julia and Ishtar starting us off. So pretty good unit overall, and definitely a good unit to give save to if you're using either the new rearmed Sorin or Brave Ectordeer. Both of them can give this unit save, and this is a pretty good magic save or far saver. They got a really fat res stat there, and then they've got a lot of DR. They've got Ice Wall there. What was their duo button again? Cooldown reduction, empathy, and then reusable. Pretty simple, but it gets the job done, and also reusable too. Anytime you see a reusable duo button, that's always good. So, yeah, not a bad unit. Not really much else to say. They're kind of tanky. In terms of mage tanking, they are pretty tanky. But honestly, I feel like their role kind of got stolen by the new Freya that came out. The new Halloween Freya. I feel like she is... If you're going to run a colorless tome duo, this is probably the one you want to go for. She's just really good overall. Like, at a whole variety of different roles, this Freya is really good. So, yeah, that's just my take there. But Julia's still good. And then finally, we have the Summer Hathroon over here. So, again, a pretty good support unit. Ice Wall, once again, great fodder. Def Res Fortune could be good for your tanky beast types. Lagoose Friend is a little dated. It's still good, obviously. But we do have different variations of this skill in particular. And then a bunch of other, like, new introduced beast skills that you could run for tank units. But still good. And then, of course, she does give Divine Nectar support, which is very powerful even still. So, not really much bad to say about this Hathroon. Green and Colorless are definitely the two you should focus on. And then red is a maybe if you're trying to merge the units. And then blue is, I would say, just straight up a skip. So, why don't we go ahead and pop our freebie here and see what we get. All right, I'm going to go for green because I really could use that T. Ingrid. That is not T. Ingrid, but it is what it is. So, yeah, let me know what you guys were able to get on your free pull. And once again, just to reiterate, I would say this is definitely a skip, but it's not like all the units here are worthless or anything. Like, you could definitely get a lot of mileage out of someone like T. Ingrid or Julia or even Yuri and Hathroon you could still definitely use right now. So, yeah, that's all for this video, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed the coverage on this banner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And I will catch y'all again on the flip side.